This will be logging into a 9500 MPR radio and checking out a couple things before we get started for path aligning. Minimize that. First thing we want to do is open our network and sharing, and this is going to be only for Windows 7. Windows 10 we'll have to do another video on. We'll go network and sharing, change adapter settings. We want to disable our Wi-Fi. So we go right click, disable, and that should take off our other Wi-Fi's down here. We want to right click and enable our Ethernet if it is disabled. We want to go ahead and open it up. Scroll down and go to Internet Protocol version 4, IPv4. We want to make sure obtain IP address automatically is selected and obtain DNS servers address automatically. Okay. Okay. So that should be it for our connections. We'll go ahead and take our Ethernet cable, and I'll get some pictures too. That way, can we put in a picture and the video?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can take photos of where you're plugging it in, and dude, that's perfect. Before and after. Plugging it back into it. Beautiful.
Then we can hook up our Ethernet to our laptop. And we should have a network pop up here enabled for connection. So now we're good to exit out of this. We want to find our software. So we'll go down to our 9500 MPR 5.2. That's the current version they're running on, and that's the only one we want to do. We want to go to the LIB file. Sorry. We want to go web EML. We want to go to the neto, and then our neto application. So you can see neto in our application there. We'll go ahead and launch that. Exit out of that folder. If we have any firewall or Java stuff, go ahead and allow access, allow access, allow access. First thing we want to do is turn on our FTP server. So once we got a little green light right there, we can go ahead and minimize this. Now, this IP address down here is the IP address of our shelf. This 10012 always auto-populates in there. If we don't have this auto-populate, down here at the bottom of the MSS8 shelf that we're trying to get into, we have some sort of connection issue with it. So we want to go back and check our Internet Protocol and a lot of stuff. So we'll go ahead and double click that. That will auto-populate in the any info up here. Go ahead and OK. And we'll enter our password and log in. Now, if this doesn't work, the login and username of the site tech, or I should be getting one here fairly shortly. If this doesn't work, then we can try and use login initial. Like my first initial of my name is P, so initial, and then down here would be admin. And we can post that up here for passwords. So go ahead and log in. Now that we're logged in, we can go down to our show button. This will launch our GUI, the graphical user interface, and this little warning will pop up. We'll go ahead and accept. And it's going to start loading. once we're in here, this GUI, the graphical user interface, this is a representation of our actual shelf. So this here matches up with our MSSH shelf. And then up here shows us our MPTs. This side's a little bit different. It's RLAG together. So they're using all 4 MPTs, or 2 sets of MPTs, sorry, for one hop. So one is probably vertical and one's a horizontal. The main thing to remember, 1, 3, 5, and 7, these are our main cards. 2, 4, 6, these are our standby cards. So 3.5 and 3.6 are main MPTs, and 4.5, 4.6 are standby MPTs. So first thing I want to do when I get in here, I have 4 major alarms. I want to go up to diagnosis, alarms, and it's going to open up a new window for us. So here we can see our current alarms, and then we can go back our alarm log global, and we can double click on that, and it'll do it by date. So we can do date and time, we can do alphabetical, and this will give us our ID. So we had a demodulator fail on radio, 3.5, slot 4, port 5, channel 0, it cleared. And then sometimes it will give us an additional text alarm concerning the lag interface. So close that out. Next thing I'll do when I log into these, I'll look at my protection schemes. So this is going to show us our protection and active roles. So basically what I want to do, let's say we want to check out 3.5. So 3.5 is our main, 4.5 is our spare. So MPT HL. So I'll click on that, and now I can go through and look, my MPT HL, slot 4, port 5, channel 0. Its role is a spare, and its status is in standby. So if I had one spare and then it was active, then I know something's wrong there, because my spare should always be my spare, it should never be my active unless we have an issue with our main. So I'll go down, look at these, make sure spare, standby, main, active, spare, standby, main, active, spare, standby, main, active. Do that for all those. And then I want to look at the criteria and make sure there's no command set. So I can click on that. If there's a CLA alarm, it'll say criteria CLA, then we can go down and hit clear CLA. So let's say this says none, but we'll click on that CLA, we'll hit apply, and then we'll do our CLA reset, and then we'll go back to none. The same thing, we can lock out. Let's say our spare is actually our active, so I can click on that, and I can go down to manual. I could lock it, manually force it back over our main. So basically that's what I'll do, is I'll just scroll down here, check main, standby, all that stuff's good. We get back to our equipment. Say if I want to check RSLs, I'll double click on our MPT here. It'll load up a new window. I can see if there's any alarms. There's no alarms on it. Settings. You have to be very, very careful when we get in here. Make sure we're not changing any of these settings. We go to additional settings. One thing I will check on maintenance is our TX mute. So TX mute, or transmitter mute, is off right now, so we don't have a mute on. So if I want to mute my transmitter on 3.6, I can go select on, apply, and it would mute that transmitter. To get to our RSLs, we can go here. 1 is our main channel, and 0 is our standby. So we always want to make sure we go on 1. Sample time, we'll just always leave that at 2 seconds, so it's always taking a sample every 2 seconds, and then we can hit start. So I'll pull up a little graph here and a numerical readout. So our receive local is -45. Our receive far, so the opposite site, the far end of the hop is -41. Then we can look at our local transmit power, +31. Far end transmit power is +31. And we can see up here direction 3.6, channel 1. And as time goes on, we'll have our little readout come across here. So receive local is our red right here. Receive far is our blue. And then up here, our violet. And we should have a blue in there too. It should be behind our violet, since they're both the same transmit powers. They're going to be right on top of each other. So our transmit powers are a positive number, and our receives are a negative number. On our receives, closer to 0, the better. So when you close out of this, you set close, and it'll close out both windows. And then we can just exit out of this. If I want to log into my far end, what I want to do is I can pull up my any neighbors. So I'm currently at Ion, and this is to Tampa. So Tampa is my far end, and then there's my remote IP address. So what I can do is go back down to my documents. And this is the only way to do it without getting kicked out. This way we can get logged into 2 sites at the same time. I'm going to go to my 9500, WebEML, Netto, and there's my application. This will start up a new window. And this is so we can log into 2 sites at once. So now that we got another window up, we can close that. Now we can type in our IP address of our any neighbor. So we want to type this IP address in down here. We go 107.70.190.1. Okay. Now it's going to make me log in again. I can do show. And accept again. And this way you can log into both sides. You just have to be careful, you keep everything in track down here. It's kind of hard to tell what site you're at when you're looking at the stop bar here. So usually I'll keep my first site that I'm at on my left, and then I'll build off from there. So if I log into 5 sites, this site will be my one I'm physically at, this will be the next in line, and so on and so forth, so we can keep it all on track. So this is my far end now. So before we just had the 4 MPTs here. Now we have another set of MPTs, and they are, if you hover your mouse over it, it should pop up. So there, and I didn't click anything, I just held my mouse on top of it. It says Tampa to Hardin. So if I want to look at that site, those RSLs of that, I can click on that, 3.7, 4.7 measurements, channel 1, start, and those are all good there. So I can close that, exit out of that. if I want to do another site and go to any neighbors. So there's to Tampa. Now I can go to loan if I want to, so I can open up another one. Documents. Now here's my third site. So at my first site, this is what I'm actually at, physically on this site. Now I am at the middle site, and then here's the far end. So it looks like there's 3 hops, and that's the end of the hop here. So that's a simple rundown on how to log into multiple sites at once without closing your GUIs. And anything, if there's any questions on anything, let's see if I go to this MPT, I can always go down to help. Will pull up what you currently are on. You can look at all your MPTs. There can be general information about it, power source, blah, 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 a whole bunch of stuff. Where that really comes in handy is if we go to diagnosis, alarms. We can go to help. There's our alarm monitors. I feel like there's another big one. Once we're done with these, we just want to back out, close out. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. So if we ever want to reset an MPT, I can highlight my MPT blue. I can go up to supervision. We never ever want to do restart any. That'll restart the whole microwave shelf. It'll shut down everything. But I can go and restart my single MPT that I have highlighted blue there. And when they're restarting, even you know when they're done restarting when you look at your remote inventory, is if this stuff is all blank, that NPT is still restarting. Once it auto-populates your serial number, software part number, all that stuff, that's when you know it's done restarting. But we never want to touch any of the protection, all that stuff. So main thing is looking at RSLs, measurements, channel 1, start, and that's how we do our RSLs. The key though is to make sure we're on the right channel and we're on the right radio. Exit out of that, and once we're all said and done, exit out of that. We want to make sure we close out of all of our windows one by one. The very last thing we want to do is turn off FTP server. Do you really want to turn it off? Yes. It'll go gray, and now we can close that out. And yes. Then once we get back, then we can go enable our Wi-Fi, and we can leave our Ethernet alone. Sometimes we do have to go in and mess with our firewall. Most of the time anymore, we don't have to. We can leave our firewall on. We shouldn't have to turn it off anymore. Another little trick to get it running is to if we're having issues, you can right click and run as administrator, and that helps out if we have some issues. That's a pretty basic, quick rundown.